Hello guys, welcome back to another video on the cheapest Porsche Boxster S in the country. Now, today we're going to be showing the car some tender loving care. We're going to be giving it a good thorough deep clean, both externally and internally as well. Not only that, we're going to be giving the whole undercarriage a good clean up, because if you watch a previous video you'll know we have a pretty nasty oil leak on that, and that's going to help us identify exactly where that oil is leaking from. Also want to pay a bit of attention to the engine bay as well. When I removed the engine bay hatch, that looked like it hadn't been touched or attempted to be cleaned in a good number of years. So yeah, I'll probably pay some good attention to that, and we'll get this thing looking like brand new again. At least that would be nice, wouldn't it? No, we're going to try and get it looking somewhat presentable. I've got the car up in the air. I'm going to take the wheels off. I'm going to give the wheel arches a good thorough deep clean, because I think this car has been, it's been maintained relatively well, but I think it's just been enjoyed and not really, pampered too much. It hasn't really been given, regular maintenance washes. So yeah, a good thorough deep clean inside and out, and we'll get this thing looking sparkling. So yeah, let's just get cracking and let's get into it. So then, first of all, quickly, I'm just going to show you around the car just so you can see what kind of state it's in. Now, I've mentioned before, the paintwork on this thing doesn't look too bad, although you can't really see how things are looking, as there is quite a thick layer of dirt on this thing. So I'm going to give it a good bath, and then any small scrapes, scratches, we'll see what we can do with a good polish. But I am interested to give these wheels a good clean up, because although they look very dirty, they actually look in very good condition. So here we can see the odd scuff and scrape on the front bumper here. Here is what the interior is looking like. I'm going to hazard a guess and say that these seats have never been out before, so it'll be interesting to see what we find under there. These mats, they are the original mats, I believe. They are genuine Porsche mats, so these should come up very nice. Same with these seats as well, in very good condition. Just a slight bit of bolster wear there on the driver's side seat, but I think that will come up nicely, especially if we can get a touch-up leather kit of some kind. And here is the front boot or frunk area. Yeah, desperately needs a clean in here, doesn't it? Just covered with road grime, I guess. And in here, yeah, it just looks like it's been used, but not necessarily been cleaned afterwards. And pretty much the same story in the rear boot area as well. Yeah, a bit grimy in here. I believe there are some drains as well that I do want to desperately clean out, because they can get clogged up with leaves and detritus. So yeah, desperately want to get them cleaned out to prevent any flooding to the interior. Obviously it's summertime now, but come winter time, if those drains are blocked up, then yeah, you'll have some serious electrical issues inside. I think the main drain is below this hatch here for the roof mechanism, and pretty much a similar story for the engine bay or engine hatch, whatever you want to call it as well. Just very dusty, lots of cobwebs. Just looks like it hasn't really been cleaned in a good while, so this should come up quite nice. Okay, so I think I'm going to actually start with the engine bay, and I know a lot of you are probably going to think I'm crazy now, which is probably not the best idea, but I'm going to use a pressure washer. Obviously the interior of the car is pretty exposed at the moment. I mean, if I spray water there, it's literally going to hit the seat, so I need to be a little bit careful with how I do things. But I'm just going to pressure wash in the hatch area. I'm not going to spray directly into any of the electrics, so don't worry about that. But at the same time, I'm also going to give this area a good clean off as well. Get these drains nice and clear and free. Wish me luck. So satisfying when you're cleaning a very filthy engine. It should come up nicely. Yeah, this needs a good clean out. I'm surprised that the drain down there isn't blocked up. Absolutely filled with leaves in here. On pretty much all the cars that I own, I like to remove the scuttle panel because, yeah, it seems that leaves and a lot of junk just gets trapped behind here. This is what blocks up the drain points down there. Obviously once that gets blocked up, you'll then have water rising in here and it'll just play havoc with your electrics. So yeah, keep those drains nice and free. So then here is how we are currently looking. Much better in the front boot area. Got rid of all that grime and dirt that was potentially blocking that drain down there on that side. All this up here was just full of dirt really. Looks much better now. And again, that drain on this side is nice and free as well. Looks so much nicer under here. Obviously still need to tackle the carpet area and all these plastics. I'll do that by hand though, obviously I'm not going to pressure wash this. The carpet will get absolutely soaked. Pretty much the same story at the rear as well. Again, all this channel here was just full of dirt. It was like green. Yeah, it wasn't very nice to look at, but yeah, so that's all now free and clear. I popped the spoiler out as well, just to clean behind that. It's spotless behind there now. Spoiler itself is nice and clean. And now I think we're ready to do a proper exterior wash on the car. Obviously we've gave the engine a good clean, gave both of the boot areas a good clean. Now I think we can shut the doors, we'll get the battery reconnected, and yeah, we'll give the car its first wash in probably a good few years. Now just quickly before we do an exterior wash, I just wanted to check on that oil leak that we're having. Obviously I've gave the engine a good clean off now underneath, and I've found the definite cause of the oil leak. You see that timing chain tensioner there? That is dripping and the engine's not even running. Obviously I've cleaned all this off and it's still dripping. There's no oil leaking above it. It's literally just dripping from the bottom of that timing chain tensioner. So that has to be for sure the cause of our huge oil leak. Now you may be thinking, well, why is it leaking? Does it just need tightening up? I've already tried that, just tried torquing it up to 80 Newton meters and it's fully torqued. I think it's just the crush washer that has failed. I think on that tensioner there is an O-ring and a crush washer. So if I'm, if I am going to remove it, I'll obviously just replace both of them. But I think it's that crush washer that has failed. Now, is it going to be a bit more involved in terms of, will I have to, lock the crankshaft? Will I have to lock the camshafts? I don't know yet. you know, kind of just get away with removing it, then putting it back with a new seal on. I don't know, I'm going to have to do some research, but yeah, that for sure has to be the cause of our huge oil leak, which I'm very pleased about, because that means that the previous owner was very, very honest. That's what he said the oil leak was from the beginning. So yes, definitely a rarity to find someone selling a car being honest about it. So yeah, very pleased about that. Now then, the proper wash. So we'll start with a bit of snow foam first. Looks pretty good in white, doesn't it? While we let that do its thing, we'll just get our buckets ready for the contact wash. And I'm also going to give the wheels a bit of a clean up as well. I don't want to go too crazy with the tyres, because these are very old tyres and they will be getting swapped out soon. But we can still make them look nice and presentable. So, car now all rinsed off. It may appear that the car is spotless, but there's still dirt on here. Basically, whenever you're washing any kind of car, you want to try and remove as much dirt and grime as possible before making contact with the paintwork. That's of course when you are going to cause damage to the paintwork. If there's any dirt on here, any major bits of grit, as soon as you make contact with that, you're going to move it all around and create scratches. So you want to try and remove as much of that as possible. Now I use the 2 bucket method. There's probably a 3, 4, 5, 6 bucket method at this point, but this is just what I do. So 1 bucket to rinse and then 1 to wash with. So yeah, let's just get cracking. Now I'd usually start with the roof, but because it's a soft top roof, I don't really know how much it's going to clean with this mitt, but I'm still just going to do it anyway. I'm guessing you need some sort of special brush to clean this ideally, but I don't have one at the moment, so I'm just going to make do with what we have. And to be honest, it should be pretty quick to clean this car because it's nice and small. It is pretty crazy how big a difference just a good wash can give a car. I mean, it's looking a million times better already. It's crazy to think that this car is 24, 25 years old at this point. Of course, can't forget the door shuts as well. These are absolutely filthy. This will make a big difference when it comes to opening the door. See a nice clean sill plate. Right then, let's get all that rinsed off. Now, as you can see, I've decided to put the wheels back on. They're all now nice and clean. They look so much better. They come up very, very nice, to be honest. And yeah, I mean, just the car, you know, just giving it a good proper wash, like, it's crazy the difference it makes. It looks so good now. Obviously, bear in mind it is 24, 25 years old, and there is the odd scratch here and there. I am going to actually go around with my DA polisher now and try and get some of the finer scratches out, because I think this will look so good after a good bit of polishing work on it. Yeah, I'm not going to bore you too much with me polishing the car, but this is essentially what I use. It's just a DeWalt cordless DA polisher. It's seems to work pretty well. I'm obviously no professional detailer, but yeah, seems to do the job quite well, and definitely beats doing it by hand. So yeah, let's go around the whole car, spend a good hour on it, try and get as many fine scratches out that we can, and see if this paintwork starts to pop. Okay then, so here's how we're now looking. I didn't go too crazy. I spent, I don't know, 15-20 minutes just going around the car. Any areas that I thought could do with a good polish, I have done so. Obviously you could spend a full day, you know, doing a proper paint correction. I may do it at some point, but obviously I just wanted to get the car in a usable state. It looks so much better compared to at the start of the day. Yeah, it really does look like a nice tidy car now. That's the exterior pretty much now done. Of course, you now need to tackle the interior. So I'm going to take the seats out. It should just be 4 bolts, I think, holding it in. I think this is 2 at the front and then 2 at the rear, and then probably electrical connector for the airbag as well. And of course we need to get all of the engine hatch covers back on as well. So I'll give all these a good clean up before they go back in place. To be honest, on first inspection in here, really not too bad. Generally you find McDonald's fries. Don't ask me why it's always McDonald's fries, but generally you do find them when you remove the seats of an old car. But we're looking pretty good in here. Is that we have a biro pen, but not a lot else. Generally you find old pound coins as well, but yeah, not much here. But this is going to clean up very, very nice. No stains to clean up or anything, just a real good vacuum in here it needs. And with the driver's seat out as well, pretty much the same story on this side. Really not bad at all. No real stains, just a lot of dust and I don't know, dirt that just builds up over the years, I suppose. But yeah, this is going to come up lovely, I just know it. Just a good vacuum and then a good going over with some interior cleaner, and it'll come up like new. Just have a look at how nice this interior's came up. Literally like brand new in here. Steering wheel has virtually no wear on it at all. It's a 25-year-old steering wheel. Crazy. So fresh in here now. Right, I'm going to get the engine compartment trim pieces put back. Obviously clean them all up first, put them back. Get the seats cleaned up, put them back in. Now I still need to clean out both of the boot areas as well. Just need a good vacuum and a good wipe out. So I'm going to crack on, get all that done, and then we can wrap things up. So I think it's true when they say you can polish value into a car. Now I don't want to say this has been easy, because I've been on this car now for a good 2 full days, but I think I've actually transformed the way this car looks. When it came to me, it was in a pretty sorry state. It looked like it hadn't been cleaned properly for a number of years, but now it looks much more presentable. So the exterior is all done. I've now finished the interior as well, and I must say, for a 25-year-old car, this interior has came up incredibly well. Look at these seats. They look virtually brand new. No tears in them. Nothing. Look at these mats as well. I don't know if these were the original mats. Obviously they're genuine Porsche ones, but again, came up like brand new. All of the plastics and leather in here is worn incredibly well. Having a look on the driver's side as well. Looks so much better in here now. There was a slight bit of wear to the driver's seat bolster. I've applied a small amount of dye to it. Seems to have done the trick. I think let's need to add a slight bit more to it, but that's blended in very, very well. Let's have a look at the front boot area. Again, this has came up very, very nicely. It was pretty filthy in here before, if you can remember. And of course the rear boot area, again, pretty immaculate in here. Of course, can't forget that we gave the engine hatch, all of the trim pieces, carpets and everything, that's all had a very good clean. All that's probably never been cleaned, so that is definitely worth doing if you haven't already done that before and you own one of these cars. Now of course I've went around the car, any areas that I thought could benefit from a machine polish, I have done so. Like I said, you could spend a full day in itself, you know, doing a proper paint correction and getting this thing looking even better, but for now I'm happy with how the car is looking. Obviously we've done a number of functional jobs as well. We have cleared out all of the drains. That is a very common problem on these cars and on, say, BMWs as well. You know, if your drains block up, the water will rise and will cover your electrics and leave you chasing a number of electrical issues for years to come. So keep those drains nice, clear and free. One thing that has become apparent now that we have the wheels nice and clean is that the nice red Brembo calipers now lets the car down, but I have a plan for those. And now that the engine is nice and clean, we are now able to identify exactly where the oil leak is coming from. So we should be able to tackle that very soon. So then there we go, a good proper deep clean on the UK's cheapest Porsche Boxster S. I think I've definitely added some value. This should now no longer be the UK's cheapest Porsche Boxster S. It's had a full interior clean, a full exterior clean, as I mentioned, both boot areas, engine bay. We now know exactly what is wrong with the car, you know exactly now what we need to fix. So I guess moving forward, we need to get some parts ordered and get this thing back on the road. I want to thank you all for watching anyway. Remember to give this video a like, leave a comment down below, subscribe if you have not already done so, and I will see you all in that next one.